Anybody else?
We don't
Yes.
all have that attitude. We love curriculum.
I know, right?
No. Why? Are we live yet?
We're live, folks.
Now we are. Now we are.
Say that one more time. We'll make sure we're live next time you say it, Cindy.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. It's Cindy Washington.
So I thought I was safe, but.
Welcome to tonight's meeting. We're to start off with our curriculum meeting. Turn it over to Dr. Geico.
So yeah, put the code in.
Are we live?
Right on.
I think we are. We are live, right?
No, he's practicing.
We are live.
No, we're not live. Okay.
Yeah, I got in that part.
Welcome to curriculum. Okay, so as with every curriculum meeting, we're starting with our cyber updates. So just as we know, cyber school does not officially start till the Tuesday after Labor Day. However, right now our current numbers are sitting pretty low. We had 33 last year, 33 full-time students. We are down to just 9. And the overall total in the program was 47 due to electives. And now we're just down to 1. We have only 1 student currently taking elective only. We do expect those numbers to grow a little bit as we get gearing up for the cyber school year. Next one, professional development. So during in-service, we did a lot of curriculum professional development sessions. As you can see on the slide, we did the TDA planning, we did SAVIS, the new SAVIS for our 7th and 8th grade, but we had all the way up from K so they could get a refresher. We had Spanish curriculum PD, and then special education had PE PD as well. And then right before that on August 5th, we had an optional training for our teachers for the newer version of our core intermediate curriculum. We had a good turnout for that. And then additionally, Mr. Davis and his technology team did provide an optional securely classroom training and an introduction to the classroom interactive tools. And so most of the faculty, that was quite a turnout for that as well. Moving on to instruction. So I am pleased to share that both the agriculture and diversified occupations programs have been officially approved. So a huge thank you to Ms. Yoder and Mr. Roten for their incredible amount of time and effort that they had with all the meeting all the program requirements. And it's not only about the submission deadlines, but they were able to achieve compliance with only 1 minor revision across both programs. So that was really great. So now we are really focusing and shifting into planning the new criminal justice program. Mr. Dunn has already begun the groundwork for that program, and he's going to be attending professional development training in September. But we are happy that we were able to get, despite the short notice, we were able to get a course, Introduction to Criminal Justice, up and running this year. We currently have 6 students, so as schedules change, we might get a couple more students in there. So that's really great to see. Moving on to the next one, just something to share, because we usually share co-op numbers during this portion, but this is just so that you have an idea of our senior participation. So we have 45 students, which is 49% of the class of 2026 that are participating in co-op. So 33 of them are 4-credit paid co-op placements, and then 12 of them are 2-credit unpaid internship experiences. And then as far as early college going to Bloom, we do have 22 students, which is 24% of the graduating class going to earn college credits while they're getting their high school requirements done as well. If you saw the pictures on Facebook or our website, we did have a great turnout for STEM camp this year. We had over 120 students across the district that participated. Did you have a question?
No, Mr. Hoagland didn't have his volume down, and I appreciate you taking it. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, continue.
Okay. Okay. So the elementary did a great job with ocean activities. Our theme was dive into discovery, the STEM adventures by the sea. So they did learn a lot about having an ocean in a bottle and like oil spill cleanups. They used virtual reality ocean dives, and they just learned a lot about the ecosystems and the environment, the environmental impact. The middle school students, though, they worked hard on building and testing the electronic skateboard kits provided by LecTech, which is founded by a Southern grad, Jared Ebersol. I have to say, I was on one of those in the hallway and it's pretty cool. It goes pretty fast. So it was fun. Don't pull the cameras on that one. So a special thanks though really is to our education staff, our student volunteers, because without them, we couldn't have made that camp possible. And then obviously the students for bringing their energy and enthusiasm. Moving on to the assessments, we got our AP exam data back. As you can see, it's up on the screen. So I just want to remind everyone that this year does mark that significant change with our AP, the way we handle AP testing. So for the first time, we did require that all students who are enrolled in AP courses take the exam. So this was just so that we have consistency and making sure that the students were fully engaged with the programming. And then it really just aligns with the best practices of high performing districts.
Do we get results from that?
Yeah, that's our results. So they come in at 1, 2, 3, or 5. What? Sorry, 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Trying to read.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack here. So we're going to have to take a look at these coming up so that we can see, just reviewing the data, see what kind of applications we have to do and start planning our next steps to really strengthen our program and moving our resources in the right way.
And Drew, you want to see a 3 or better in those.
That's what I was just.
So if we're happy if we have a 3 or better. If we're getting 1s and 2s, we need to look at the content we're teaching, what kids are taking it. But if we're performing anybody in that 3, 4, or 5, awesome. We get into those 1 or 2s, like Crystal said, we're making everyone take it. So that's some of it. But when you see numbers like 8, 9, we have to kind of look at what kids are taking that, what's the course, what's the material. But overall, I just wanted to make sure you knew you want to be looking at 3, 4, or 5. That's what the students are getting.
Colleges usually will take a 4 or 5 to give you credit. What's that?
25 to 14 inch is the.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, so we do have to think about it, and we had this conversation, it is weighted. So a lot of students take it for the weight versus the exam credit. So we need to take a look at how that's perceived.
I'd like to see the difference between what the grade is in the class in comparison to the test results too.
Correct. So a student who's applying for colleges can say they took an AP exam or to AP class with 100%, and the college will look at it really impressed, whereas they can take it and get a 1 on the exam and not get the credit, college credit.
Yeah, I'm just curious on, like, we talked about this before, curriculum where, our grades on standardized tests were not showing them what our grade GPA average in the classes were. So I guess where they don't correspond with what we're seeing up there, is it the kids blowing off the test, or is it the weighting of homework versus everything else, and whether we're not getting what.
Right. And this is the first time that we've gotten.
Yeah.
Because we have never had anything on Future Ready Index showing that we offered AP exams. So this was a way that we got that out there. So like I said, we have to take a look at this and see what's going on, and making sure that that the students are understanding that it's both the credit and the weight.
It's nice to have that information in comparison to not having it all the time.
Right. So we'll take a look at the resources and how they're handling those classes. So assessment information in Act 158. Mr. Hoagland, I think you asked the last time to give, I'm professional, right? To give information about pathways to graduation that maybe people weren't quite understanding, the importance of PSSA data as well as Keystone data. So that's what this is for. So if you scroll up, Mr. Becker, I have the purpose of the PSSA and Keystone. I don't need to read that, but I do just want to say that as a district, we really use this information from the PSSA and Keystone data to guide our planning and our curriculum resources and our allocation of our resources, as well as our professional development for our faculty. It helps us identify the achievement gaps in our students, and then it just really allows us to strive for academic excellence as well as compliance with PD standards. So those are the things that I just really wanted to point out. So, Mr. Becker, if you can click on the pathway to graduation, just so we can talk about it a little bit. So as a high school student, we look at, first of all, the easiest way to graduate is to get that Keystone proficiency. That would mean that they would test proficient in algebra, bio, or literature. And if they do not score anything less than a basic, they can do some combination of scores. So they can use 3-score composite of a 44.52 or a 2-score composite of a 29.39. So the easiest way that we can get a student to graduate is have them pass those keystones. So when we look at alternative ways for a student that just has test anxiety or just isn't comfortable with test taking, we can do a CTE concentrator, which we can now do because we have multiple programs up and running. We can do an alternative assessment as well as evidence-based. So Mr. Becker, if you go to the other one, obviously we do have waivers and IEP plans. So this is looking at the CTE concentrator, the alternative assessment, as well as the evidence-based. So if they get artifacts for their industry certifications, that counts towards the CTE concentrator pathway. ASVAB, a lot of kids test out with ASVAB. They do really well on that. They only need a 31 or higher, and they get their pathway to graduation. The ACT, the SAT, all of those count for the assessments. AP exams as well can be counted there, and acceptance to higher ed institutions, 4-year programs can get accepted in that alternative assessment. Evidence-based does come down to 3 different artifacts from 2 different sections, so it gets a little complicated trying to decide what a student can get. So again, the easiest way to the pathway to graduation is Keystone exams.
What's an artifact?
What's that? I'm sorry?
What is an artifact?
When is it in effect?
What is an artifact?
Like a project, right?
Yes, yeah. Anything that proves that they got something. Yeah, so if they got a certification, it would be the certificate. Yeah.
Like an industry-based competency certificate should be your serve safe, right? Serve safe and
Yes.
food service would count, you know,
Yes.
if you got like a welding
Yes.
certificate.
Yes, but they have to be a CTE
Of
concentrator.
course, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, we can get industry-based certifications in the evidence-based, but again, you have to have 3 artifacts within 2 sections. So it gets really complicated trying to find one that actually fits with a lot of people. Because if they're not a tester, that really in section 1 narrows you down to about 3 different options.
And notice on the alternative assessment, we're just talking about attainment of 3 or better on an AP exam.
Yeah.
Third one down.
Right.
So again, that
So
kind of
passing a
dovetails with
3 or higher on a
what
EP
Michelle was
exam.
saying about, 3, 4, or 5, you know.
Right, right. That will qualify them
In
to,
that category.
yep, exactly.
Do we track who graduates in what way? Do we have data on that?
Yes.
Okay.
So guidance has a form of what pathway students are graduating under. And then the minute they hit one of the pathways, they highlight them and then we identify who needs what, and then we try to figure it out. So last year, I think we had 5 students that we had to go to the evidence-based and try to find what we can put them under.
Okay.
But for the majority, they were able to get one way or another. Like I said, mostly, I think we did about, with the ASVAB, I think we got about 30 students. It's quite significant. Getting them a pathway there. Any other questions about the Act 158? Okay. Mr. Becker, if you can go to next data, please. So really proud of our numbers here. These are fantastic for, as you can see on the screen right now, it's our algebra and our math for our lower levels. And if you scroll down, Mr. Becker, we're also highlighted for our English. Did not highlight the science because the science was a pilot this year for steels. And that's bio. Do we have English? Is that up on the top? English is at the top. Yep. There we go. Keep going. English. And we did not test our lit this year either. We wanted to get them back on the winter grade. So high school did not test. They will be testing first timers in the winter.
If I'm reading that right, kudos to second or seventh grade.
Yeah.
Seventh grade was second in ELA and second in math. Is that how I'm
In
reading?
math and English.
That's awesome.
Yeah, seventh grade did a great job. All of them, I mean, most of them are under double digits, so that's pretty fantastic. And Mr. Becker, if you hit the sheet right before that prompt come. So, this is on the document, this is on board docs, but, I think it's really interesting that, even though our test scores are pretty great, as far as ranking, if you just click, so we're in ELA right now, Mr. Becker, if you can click down grades 3 and then move to 4.
Maybe he probably has to click enable editing.
Oh, yeah, edit.
See, that's okay. It's sneaky.
So even though our scores are quite high as far as ranking, our trajectory is still falling a little bit. So this is something we're going to keep our eye on, and hopefully with the TDA training and the new core curriculum that we will strengthen this and we'll move on a more upward trajectory. And then we didn't test lit. But overall, really great scores, good rankings in the IU.
When will you guys sit down and talk with grade levels about their PSSA data? Is that not till Fair Week?
We usually will talk right after our first round of CDTs, and then we'll bring the PSSA data into that conversation. Because in that way they can take a look at where they left and where they're at now.
We're already talking about the TDA stuff and writing with the trainers that we brought in and we shared with them. So that process for that has already been started. And I believe we have a lot of work to do in that area. And then once we can get that worked out, I really do feel like that's going to really boost our PSSAs for that area in ELA, because that's 20% of your score. So if we can get that right, I really think we'll see a big jump there.
And I won't have him click in again, but one of the things that I'm real proud of the teams is that English did focus on vocabulary. So when you break it down to the scoring, all the vocabulary they rose. There was some growth in almost everybody's vocabulary for the strength that they were doing behind that this year. So really proud of the English department this year for focusing on that goal and getting it accomplished in their testing. That's it for curriculum. Any questions for me?
Probably missed this because I wasn't here, so I'm sorry. The SOFA cyber numbers are down a lot. Are the private cyber numbers up?
I'm sorry, the outside cyber, that I don't know. I would have to pull it.
We're gonna give you those numbers in September. We just even today had 2 go. So then if we gave you numbers today, it probably wouldn't be.
I just wondered if that's what that meant.
Yeah. I think
Is it there in person?
looking at some.
Well, I do know, yeah, I do know there was quite a bit, maybe 8 or 8 came back in
The number
person.
where it may have went up a little. We got some back, but like today we lost 2 to CCA.
I was just trying to understand the good news are.
I can get those numbers for next time. When I give the update, I can sort out the 2 different sets of numbers.
Question, are the ACE numbers lower overall this year?
What, I'm sorry?
The ACE numbers, I remember that being more like a 30 to 50% doing ACE, either full or part-time.
Mhm.
It's 24, so is that less students going to ACE? I think that's accurate.
Last couple of years, we've had in and around 20, 25, somewhere in there. So the numbers are somewhat consistent.
Yeah.
And those numbers consist of kids going full-time and part-time.
Yeah, and the co-op numbers, I think last year was 36, so we did go up this year quite a bit for our co-op numbers.
One other big question for you guys all this fall is, what do we want to do curriculum wise? And we've talked about in the past, do we want to be prepping kids for workforce? Do we want to be offering those challenging courses? Do we say, well, we're not doing those because they're going to go to ACE? And just what is the vision? What is our goal? So that as the end of the year comes up and we're talking about, what courses are we offering next year, so we know what our vision is and we can adjust and make sure we have valuable classes for everybody to take.
So Josh, I think it's gotta be a balance of all of it, because I think everything you said, we want all of it. But then we have to have a priority and a focus. So one of the priorities that I said to the administrative team is we all need to be rowing in the same direction and we need to be working as a team. And right now, priority has to be writing, just based upon the scores and what we're doing. So everybody is being trained on it. And then we met as an admin team to talk about what that looks like. As far as what do we need to do moving forward, we're doing it all. We have CTEs, we have writing, we have reading, we have math. And when I did my presentation for back to school, I said, our goal is to be consistent with curriculum. I can't ask you to do it with fidelity at this point, but it's to be consistent. So we've bought all these things and we have all of these things. It's your job. Crystal and I are meeting with the lead teachers on Wednesday morning at 7:30 to share this with them. And then that setup in the morning time from that 7:35 until 8:05, that is what they're doing. They're working as a team with the different departments to determine how are we collaborating together to work as a team to make sure we're hitting all of those things that you just said. So I know that might seem like we're taking on a lot, but we have all of these new things happening. I didn't feel that we could take one and say, okay, just focus on this or just focus on that. So as an admin team, we're looking at you're using all of these things consistently this year, or for next year with fidelity. But I think you can't just say one is, over the other. And that will be our focus when we're doing walkthroughs.
But I think we will continue to look at our courses, especially in the high school level, and make sure that we're appealing to the students. We're finding the courses that have hands-on engagement are increasing. So those are the ones that we're finding students are trying to get into.
And we're going to push, of course, all your honors and AP courses. Our AP population right now is pretty small. Maybe 2-3 kids are signing up for AP courses to the point we can't even run them. So we want to definitely pursue that as well. Try and get more advanced classes to become popular again.
Any in-person public comment? Any online public comment, Mr.
Bree, I do not have any online comments. Do we want to go into a pause period for 5 minutes, or are we going straight into the meeting?
7 PM, start the meeting.
Can you repeat that again?
7 PM, start the meeting.
All right, I'll let you know.
It's a back to school kind of.
I'm about a week out, so a little longer.
Yeah, I want to do that ahead of time. We don't want to.
I'm not worried about the.
We're live, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. You all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Majeski.
Welcome, everybody, to our August board meeting. Hopefully, everybody had a really good first day of school and is coming down off of their new schedule high this evening. Just want to say best wishes to Mr. Becker. He's going to stick around here for a couple more days. And at the end of the week, he'll be off to his new adventure in Hazleton. He has spent many, many nights in his life until midnight with us. So I have promised him that we're going to have him out here at 7:30 tonight as a parting gift. So we're going to do our best to be brief tonight. If we could have the roll call, please.
Andrew Hampton.
Here.
Kendall Heeman.
Here.
Josh Hoagland.
Here.
Jim Levan.
Here.
Brianna Majeski.
Present.
Josh Majeski.
Here.
Justin Rodriguez.
Here.
Tony Serafini. Cindy Brassington.
Present.
8 board members present.
Thank you. Moving on to the agenda hearing period. The purpose for the agenda hearing period is to permit residents in the audience to make a statement to the board of directors on action items. At this time, we'll accept comments from district residents or property owners on action items on the agenda in person or on the online form. If you're not present and would like to make a comment, you can use the form on Facebook, Board Docs, or the website. Is there any in-person agenda hearing period comment tonight? Is there any online agenda hearing period comment tonight?
Mrs. Majeski, there are no online comments.
Yours.
All right, thank you very much. Some of our open positions, we do have some paraprofessional custodial positions, but again, as we said in July, we are very happy with the people we were able to fill positions early in the summer and late in the spring. So very excited about the start of school and having our positions mainly filled. PSBA has been great at recognizing school board members. Tonight, I'd like to honor Josh Hoagland, Cindy Brassington, and Tony Serafini for being school board members for 5 years. It does seem longer than that sometimes, but
I'll take
no,
that as a
and listen, and I've said this many times, school board members are not paid and spend tirelessly so many hours of their own time researching and at school board meetings, and as Bree said, late evenings, trying to do what's best for this school. So I give all board members recognition, but today those three 5-year anniversary recognitions. In service days and first days of school, very positive feedback from all. We had a couple little bumps in the road with transportation today, but they kind of got ironed out. Not odd to have a couple little bumps the first day and for them to get ironed out. Happy about great first day of school. Columbia Montour Votech, the superintendents are talking about, and it'll go to the GOC, but I wanted to bring this up where all schools are taking it back to their own schools, looking at a study. And again, not to say that we want change or don't want change, but we're going to see what we're doing the best. And they're going to look at total, they're going to look at finances, they're going to look at programming and total package. They're going to review. It is going to cost each district some money. An estimate was about $5,000 from each school district, because it will be a lengthy study. But I think it's about time. I don't think a study like this has been done. There's been studies at Votech, not a comprehensive study. And I think that's what's going to be done for Columbia Montour Votech. More from that coming in the near future.
Who's going to do it?
We're investigating possibilities right now.
Okay.
Okay, site logic discussion. So we wanted to discuss or elaborate a little more from our facilities meeting last week. We looked at, and Site Logic came with a proposal of different projects. And, we wanted to, over the last week administratively, specifically myself, Jill, Chris, Scott, and the rest of the admin team, kind of talked about what should our priorities be. We do have some aging infrastructure, and I want to make sure any project, we make sure everybody knows that because I got questioned on it this weekend, and I want to make sure any project we're doing isn't some, glorifying or making pretty or expanding and on any of the facilities. It is mainly to upkeep the current infrastructure that we have. We have some bathroom facilities, we have some plumbing, and the list can go on down, and a lot of these systems are original. So if you have a house from 1964 that was built in 64, I'm sure there's been some type of renovation, maybe not of what you wanted, but things you had to do. So the things that we're looking at doing are things we believe we're going to have to do sometime in near future. And I think we can look at some of these things, evaluate these things, and make best decisions moving forward. One of the things they talked about is the water tanks in both buildings. I do know we did have a leak in a water tank a few years ago in the elementary school. And then in the water tanks in the high school, we've had problems earlier this year. It was more a mechanical part of it, more than the tank. But we are having our tanks analyzed tomorrow morning. They're going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, ultrasonic testing on the wall thickness of the tank to see how good these tanks are. So I think as a recommendation from the admin, it all stems from these tanks. As we talked about a number of times during facilities meetings, if we have to replace these tanks, there's a lot of questions. Do we put new tanks outside? Do we remove old tanks? If you know where the tanks are in the high school building, it would probably be impossible to take these tanks out without a major project. So we're going to have these tanks tested for the wall strength and wall thickness before we kind of make any solid decisions after that. And again, Scott, Chris, Jill, we've met a couple of times at length to kind of discuss this. And then after that, again, some of the structures or areas in the school that hasn't been fixed in or ever. And this building is mid-1960s. The elementary building, mid-1970s. So some of these areas are in desperate need of, an upgrade or a fix before we have a major catastrophe, which we're trying to avoid, a major catastrophe. So we're looking at if, depending on the tanks, do the functioning parts of the tank, floats, pumps, all that stuff needs to be done. So even if the tanks are worthy and we are able to keep them, I do think some of that infrastructure, or the mechanical parts of the tanks, including the pumps, they need to be replaced. After that, we were talking about, where do we go? And there's a lot on the table. If you sat through the months of Site Logic being here and going over and the photos, and we're going to continue to build that site, my Site Logic, excuse me. And that will help us in deciding what we do. We do think we do have some money set aside in capital projects that we have assigned. We are a little worried about using all of it or even most of it in case there are issues down the road. We do think we can use some to fund some of the projects that we feel we need to do, including we feel we should start at one building, with this building being older, we should look at our core bathrooms. And then when we started talking about core bathrooms, some of the things that weren't talked about last Monday night, but have been talked about extensively since, is we have a lot of core bathrooms that, when I say core bathrooms, original to the building, that really hasn't been touched in any of the projects. Namely, the locker room bathrooms. I'm not talking about the locker room itself. It's just, if you're familiar with the bathrooms, and some of you are in the locker rooms, it's the bathroom part, shower part, the nurse's suite. There's original bathrooms in the hallway, by the in the office corridor. Original bathrooms in the staff lounge downstairs. There's an original bathroom in the kitchen area of the high school, and there's an original bathroom in each one of the coaches' office. So we have to look at all those. My whole philosophy with that is we didn't want to do 3 core bathrooms and say, well, whoa, you didn't touch the locker room bathrooms, which, I'm looking around, and a lot of us have gone to school here, and we all have used those bathrooms, and, so they were the same as they are today as they were in 1985 when I was, strapping on the Tiger Gears myself. So there are things I think we have to have Site Logic look at quickly. And I know they've been in here and have some photos of some of these areas, but I think they got to be part, and I think we got to piecemeal this out. They put the 3 core bathrooms together in a project. I think we got to see what those other areas in this building, what it would cost. And the reason we decided this building's 10 to 12 years older than that building. So that was our philosophy on what we needed to do and why we chose those areas. All starts with tank testing tomorrow. Chris, Jill, Scott, did I miss anything?
Just based,
I still got everything on my list.
yeah, just based on the tank testing, then we'll bring to the board in the September meeting, based upon that recommendation, if we need to do that or we don't need to do that. Then the next piece is the bathrooms. And Jim brought up to me, because I didn't know all this, is that they didn't give us all the bathrooms that need to be looked at. And I brought up the nurse's suite. The nurse's suite at the high school needs to be fixed. It's a big problem. The bathroom is, it's a big hub. It's bad. So we reached out to them and asked, can you please put that in your pricing? Because it's not in there of what you guys saw last time when I looked at the board docs. So as soon as I get that, we'll share that with you, and then be prepared in September to review with you what our recommendations are after that information is given to us.
I have a question, and I want to highlight some stuff just for those who haven't paid attention to the 50 other meetings where we've talked about these same things. The tanks and the pumps, specifically the high school water supply system, like that led to early dismissal earlier this year. So these are not even problems that we anticipate having in the future. These are problems we are having now, and have already had to send kids home early as a result. So something needs to happen there. I agree. Am I correct, Cindy and Bree? I asked this last week, and I want to make sure I understand that the bathrooms have consistently been a point of concern brought up by the student body when we've done various outreach events where they've come and spoke. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. So would that be the top thing that they've mentioned, or are there other facility
It's pretty
issues?
consistent. Yeah, that's one of the first things.
I'm not saying that should drive the decision. I just want to make sure that we're at least addressing or acknowledging that. There was something else. Gosh.
Sure, you can touch on the electrical.
Go ahead. Yeah, you got it.
Right, so 2 of the projects on there are emergency electrical for the 2 different buildings, which is again something that we have lost numerous school days over. And most importantly, we got to keep the water pressurized. We got to keep the water moving in the heating and cooling system, so we don't lose additional days from having to drain that in the winter months. And ideally, we'd be able to stay here because we had a functioning cafeteria and lighting. None of those are things that we can do currently.
Right. I remember the other question, the actual question. So the site, my site IQ, the web-based log of all of this with photos and material conditions and recommendations, there was discussion of being able to make that available to the public.
Oh,
I
remember that.
suspect we have not been able to accomplish that yet, but I think it would be helpful to whoever was talking to Mr. Becker over the weekend, I'm sure concerned about the consequences related to tax dollars being spent on these things, to be able to point to a professional objective assessment of the facilities. This isn't us saying these things are in this condition. This is, here it is, and you can evaluate for yourself. There's pictures. It's pretty organized. It gives conditions and dates of original install and maintenance, and it is the most accurate and up-to-date record that we have ever had of the material condition of the building. So if we could make that publicly available, I think we should do whatever we can to put it out there for whoever would like to see it. There's nothing in there of security concern or anything like that, so I don't see why we couldn't.
Chris, just to follow up on what Josh said about utilizing site logic. When I understood in our facilities meeting with them evaluating the plumbing, and we don't need to address that at this point. If we would have had a contractor come in to replace all that piping, was more than what we're paying Site Logic at this point to evaluate, correct?
Yeah, well, yes, yes.
So at this point, using Site Logic, we have basically saved quite a bit of money by not having to replace the piping at a guess.
And then other big posts we haven't talked about, although it's not a definite, but the concept they're going to assist us with grant writing and trying to obtain additional funding beyond our funding. Now that's, not a guarantee and could certainly not come through, but it's something to factor in, right? It's that additional information also supply for the proper grants in the proper way.
I think that's also a critical point to reemphasize. We will be applying for grants. We will hopefully receive some grant funding. There is no project that we are considering with the grant funding that we would not otherwise be paying for completely out of pocket. So it's not like we're doing things because we can get a grant. We're doing things that we're going to have to pay for no matter what, and hopefully can get 80% of it covered by grant funding rather than local tax dollars. So I think that gets lost sometimes because not every district approaches this that way. Some approach it with, oh, there's free money. Let's go do something that we otherwise would not have done. We have a $20 million list of things that need to be done to pick from before we get to the, let's just go get other money or something.
And I guess what I understand, without Site Logic, it would be very difficult to get those grants.
Yeah, nearly impossible the way it sounds. If it was Site Logic or equivalent.
Site Logic is
The facilities.
very good at what they do.
So we're gonna have a long meeting next facility finance to hash this out. I'd encourage everybody, I went in today, did my own scenario. So I'd recommend make your own scenario so you can drag and drop, put these things where you think your priorities are before the meeting so we can try to quickly hash it out that night. If you aren't set up there,
You can reach out to me. I can help.
have Chris help you.
Yep.
The goal is to come out of that committee meeting with a
list for them to go.
We need to have a
bid.
list to put on for
We
grant.
will have an agenda item for the following full board meeting to approve for them to actually pursue preparation for, so that
They can have it on their grant application or our grant application.
they need a timeline.
So when we would be voting in September's.
September 16th, something
I
like
believe it's the 15th.
that.
And that regardless if you get the grant, you still are moving forward with it.
And obviously we could scale a little with alternatives.
Just want to make sure that that's said.
It wouldn't have an exact board vote on until later, probably early January, February, on approving a project.
No, but
This
we have
would
to
be-
approve what
we
we're
have to-
applying
Right,
and what we
yes.
can start moving forward.
Yes, we have to identify a project of our need and for the grant to be able to.
Chris, and there are things that will result in expenditures coming out of that regardless of the grant then.
Correct.
Planning. purposes. Yeah.
Well, just so people understand too, that we will have to have probably a match for quite a few of these grants.
Yeah, some of them require 25%, some are more. Yes, correct. There's usually you can't, it's not 100% free money ever. It's always some form of, co-effort. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, more come in September. Administrative reports, Mr. Troll.
Been a great first day of school, off and running. I'm excited for for our year to begin and really start chugging towards our vision in the elementary. I know it was touched on again here in the curriculum meeting tonight with changes that we're implementing this year. And I think we have a solid plan in place. I told the teachers last week it's going to be a lot of hard work, but at the end of the day, it's about making their lives easier with building consistency across our building with our curriculum and really being able to move our kids.
Mr. Kiefer's not with us tonight, but his report is posted. Mr. Heinowski.
Following off of Brandon, great first day for the high school. Smooth day. You can always tell when you have your first meeting with the student body. I kind of get a good gauge how the year is going to go, and you can usually tell within the first 5 minutes. And I got to say, so impressed with our kids and their behaviors and their attentiveness, their excitement to be back, celebrating Keystone scores. There's a good energy, and we're excited about it, and we're going to capitalize on it moving forward. And I just wanted to touch base. Meet the Teacher Night was successful. Probably the most parents we ever had in the high school, well, at least since I've been here. It was our greatest turnout, and the personal conduct presentation for the athletes on August 14th was by all accounts a success too. We had special ed interviews, but there were, Mrs. Brassington was there and helping. She said it was very impactful and powerful. We kind of got kicked it off, and all the feedback and responses have been great so far. So we're off and running.
Dr. Kukowski.
I'm talking about the processes in the curriculum office. So my board report is simply just stating the points of contact for as I transition out of this federal programs role, more of a CTE coordinator versus a program manager, as well as a cyber school coordinator. And we now have a cyber school program manager.
Sure.
So I'll just speak about the first day when teachers came back. I rolled out my plan and my goals, which I will share them with the board as well. So you know how we're moving forward. And then I also have all of the administrators' goals, which I will share with you as well, so you can see how we are all aligned. But I can tell you, I will agree with what Mr. Heinowski said. I was totally impressed. I was in both the middle school and high school meetings today, and the kids were super excited. And I was also in Mr. Charles' building, and I think we only had 3 kindergarten students that were criers today. Only carried 1 in. So I would say overall, it was a very successful opening day.
Mr. Davis.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Becker. So again, I'm just going to echo what the rest of the admin said. We have a lot of new exciting programs going on. Some of them I mentioned in my board report, and there's some additional ones I did not mention that that Mrs. Schupp is kind of spearheading. So we're really excited about that. And again, I was in both those meetings in middle school and high school, and I agree with Mr. Heinowski and also what Mrs. Schupp said. The kids were excellent, and looking forward to having a great year.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Okay, this is Majeski.
All right, facility reports quickly. Josh, facilities?
So just sorry. I have to do my cheat sheet. So we had the presentation from Site Logic, and we don't need to talk anymore about that. We will regroup on that next week. We discussed the summer work progress and painting. We discussed the cleaning services, which are on the agenda tonight for approval. We spoke roof repairs, bathroom partitions, and the issues with the gym floor finish and path forward there is still yet to be determined. I'll also do finance, because Jeff wasn't here. We got an update on the progress with the solar project, specifically the generation rates and sellback comparisons, which we had some outstanding questions on to still be answered. We did receive our PPL rebate. It was slightly lower than anticipated because the net generation that was estimated initially was higher than what we actually ended up deciding on approving once we approved the project. But it was still very close. It was like $5,000 less. We received an update on the delayed Pennsylvania budget and the impacts that may have on our funding. I believe that was forwarded to all of the local newspapers then as well, the communication from the state, so that everyone could see what we see. And then we spoke about the digital sign out at the road and the need for upgrades or replacement.
Jim, do you want to do policy?
Sure. We did discuss a number of policies. Policy 236 and 254 were policies that we don't have currently in our policy manual and recommended by PSBA, Student Assistance Program, and Educational Opportunity for Military Children. They're all posted and are on the agenda for tonight for our first reading for adoption. The next 5-6 policies recommended by PSBA. It's been a number of years since these policies have been updated. 317, 317.1, mainly updates due to Title IX and dealing with sexual harassment. The 317 was expanded a little considerably from what we currently have. And then there's administrative regulations to make it clear on how to follow these policies. 626.1, some federal guidelines came down regarding fiscal compliance. I'm sorry, that's what those two were about. And then 718 is something we've talked about even way back in May when we talked about service animals in schools, and we made those changes, and then also conflict of interest updated recommendation from PSBA.
Thank you.
Cindy or Jim, VOTEC?
VOTEC current enrollment is 623, still some kids in the appeal process. We're still looking for a PIMS coordinator, school police officer, and back to the drawing board for assistant principal, and no negotiation movement, no dates, nothing. And activities was canceled. But I want to bounce off of what Henry said about the athletic presentation. Dr. McFarland did a great job. It was a great presentation. Got a lot of good feedback from coaches and students. And it wouldn't be a bad thing for, I think, any student to watch. He shared a lot of knowledge in 38 minutes.
Well, sounds like he'll be back next year, so we can open it up to anybody that obviously wants to come as well. That's not an athlete, so.
Yeah, and that's it.
Drew, curriculum?
Curriculum, we met tonight for the meeting, at our SoCo cyber updates, which are kind of preliminary. That's being in the school. September will be a better view of that. Professional updates, PDA, SABIS, and Spanish curriculum discussed. CT programs, ag, and diversified occupations were officially accepted. Criminal justice in the works. We do have intro to criminal justice course that we were able to get on the syllabus first year class selection. I'm sorry. Senior participation in co-op, 45 seniors, which is almost 50% of the class, is participating in some form of co-op. And ACE or early college, 22 seniors, which is 24% of the class are participating. STEM camp over the summer, we had 120 students, very successful. And that's about it.
Thank you. Negotiations, we're still waiting patiently, or at least waiting for ASME to ratify the contract that we agreed to 2 months ago. No wellness report. CSIU did not meet last month. We'll be back there this week. We have no Tony for PSBA. So moving on to treasurer's reports. Chair's looking for a motion to approve the treasurer's reports.
Don't move.
Motion by Josh, second by Jim. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Moving on to minutes and invoices. Can we do A and B as a block?
Yeah.
Chair's looking for a motion to approve items, minutes, and invoices A and B.
Don't move.
Motion by Kendall.
Second.
Second by Justin. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Chair is looking for a motion to approve item fiscal A.
So moved.
Motion by Josh Majeski,
Second.
second by Justin. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed. Moving on to items personnel. We do A through O as a block.
Great. I'd like to pull out item I for a roll call.
So can we do items A through H and J through O as a block?
Yes. Yeah.
So we'll take block first. Chair is looking for a motion to approve items A through H and J through O.
So moved.
Motion by second by Cindy. Any discussion?
When we say authorization of superintendent, who
Whoever's
are
here.
we authorizing?
It'll be meet till Friday.
It affects whether or not I want to vote yes.
We meet till Friday and then Jill picks up Saturday or Friday night at midnight or Saturday at midnight.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Chair is looking for an item to approve personnel I.
So moved.
Motion by
Josh.
Josh Hogan, second by Justin. Any discussion? So I was at the interviews last week. We interviewed 3 candidates for special ed director. Amy Willoughby is on our agenda tonight, and you may recognize Amy's name as being on our agenda within the last year for a couple reasons. So when Amy left us in December, I said, accept with regrets, and it was very big regrets. I was excited to see her come back. As we all know, our professional lives and our personal lives are dynamic. And I'm glad that when this kind of unexpected opportunity came back around, it was something that aligned with Amy's life at this time. So any other discussion on I?
I would say I was there as well. I was very impressed. We had 2 good candidates and she was one of them. She was great. She left on good terms as far as I know. I was very happy with her work here and excited for the opportunity to have her back.
Ashley, if you could have a roll call vote, please.
Kendall Haven.
Here. Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Absent.
Josh Hoagland.
Yes.
Jim Levan.
Yes.
Brianna Majeski.
Yes.
Josh Majeski.
Yes.
Justin Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Tony Serafini. Cindy Brassington.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Drew Hampton. Kendall.
Absent.
It's Kendall.
Yes.
I'm bad at that too, just so you know.
All right, policies and programs. Chair is looking for a motion to approve policy and programs A.
Motion.
Motion by Cindy,
Second.
second by Jim. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Board comments.
Congratulations, Amy. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
From having kids in the building, they were all very excited today at the end of the day, and no one came home too fussy, although I have a kindergartner that starts tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to pictures of he's crying off the bus.
I'll carry him in like the others.
Yeah, but good job, admin team, for getting everything together for day one, for rallying the teachers, to a successful first day again. And thank you for doing what you guys do. So this, I've said it many times, but this is my last first day of school as a board member. So, I'll always move to support this admin team, whether on the board or not, but to publicly recognize you, I think it speaks volumes because you guys do a good job, whether parents like it or not. So thank you. And, I keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
You're welcome. We appreciate you very much as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your service to the board.
Any,
For our nation.
Fair, but any other board comment?
Jim, thank you again for your service.
Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Thank you. It's been a
Wish you the best of luck.
great years, and I'm ready for something different, and it'll be a lot different. And I really feel the district is in great hands and is going forward in a great way. So that makes me happy. So at the end of the day, I'm a Tiger, and I'm not going to be too far away. So always be watching.
We know how to find me. All right, moving on to recognition of the public. At this time, we'll accept comments from district residents or property owners in person or via Microsoft Forms. If you're not present and wish to make a comment, you can access the forum on Board Docs, the website, or Facebook. Do we have any in-person public comment?
First, with Cleveland Township, we're talking about the tanks and them inspecting them and all. The tanks, the water tanks, how come we're doing it when school's in session? We had all summer. I mean, I didn't hear anything about.
So we shouldn't have any disruption in service to have this testing done.
But honestly, until last week, the discussion was the tanks need to be replaced.
Oh.
And that was just the way everybody was moving forward. Tanks are metal and ancient, and if you look at the outside of the tank, you would say there's absolutely no way it's gonna pass this all the testing.
That's
But,
what we're talking about today.
however, because of the difficulty with removing the tanks, where they're sort of underground. So it could be done, it's just in prohibitively expensive. So the discussion then was that we're gonna have to replace the tank, we may have to put it outside. And then we have to build something to house it, so it becomes a massive project just for the tank itself. So if there is a chance that the tanks can be reused and just change the things, the mechanical parts like Jim thought, we wanna see that before we make a decision.
Okay, I just wondered because school's here and all at once we're looking at
Yes.
the tanks and.
Well, another thing that drove this is we had good luck with our sewer and water lines being tested, and they turned out okay. So we're hoping that the tanks are good too.
The original thought on the sewer lines and the domestic water lines was that there's no way that we would be able to salvage them, and they would have to be replaced at the tune of, $1 million or $1.5 million. The testing that was done here recently proved that they're actually in really good condition, and we don't need to do anything. So we're hoping that the tanks say the same thing. Say the same thing. Start checking things off the list that don't need to actually do it.
Any other in-person public comment? Any online public comment, Mr. Davis?
Mrs. Majeski, there are no online comments.
You're looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Cindy, second by Josh Modesty. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. You can let us know.